Once upon a sparkle in time, in a land where flowers whispered secrets and the stars twinkled in tune with lullabies, lived a kind hearted girl named Cinderella. She wasn't your ordinary girl, oh no. Ever since her glass slipper adventure at the royal ball, Cinderella had become more than just a princess. She had become a secret guardian of magical realms. You see, after marrying Prince Leo, Cinderella discovered that her fairy godmother wasn't the only magical being in the land. There were entire kingdoms hidden behind enchanted vales, lands filled with fairies, unicorns, talking animals, and even candy growing trees. Her pure heart had opened a doorway into the realm of Everlight Garden, the most magical place in all the worlds. But even magic has its troubles. Everlight Garden was ruled by Queen Leora, the fairy queen of light, whose wings shimmered with every color of the rainbow. Her kingdom flourished with enchanted flowers that bloomed all year round and streams that sang lullabies. The most powerful of them all was the Everlight flower, glowing with warm golden light at the heart of the garden. But one moonless night, the Everlight flower began to dim. Without its glow, Everlight Garden would fall into shadow, and magic everywhere would start to fade. Fairy Queen Leora summoned her council of sparkle and wisdom and whispered, "There is only one soul pure enough, kind enough, brave enough to restore the light. Cinderella." Back in the human realm, Cinderella was helping the royal chef bake carrot cake when a glowing hummingbird zipped through the kitchen window. It dropped a tiny scroll into the bowl of frosting. "Oops," giggled Cinderella, wiping it off. She read aloud, "To the guardian of light, the Everlight is fading. We need your heart, your courage, and your friendship. Signed, Leora, Queen of the Fairies." Before she could blink, a portal made of floating glittering petals opened right before her eyes. With a quick nod to Prince Leo, who was used to this kind of thing by now, Cinderella stepped through the portal, still holding a cupcake. Cinderella landed softly on a cushion of singing moss. All around her were floating lily pads, lanterns glowing in midair, and fireflies that spoke in rhyme. "Whoa," she whispered. "This place is even prettier than my dream journal." She was greeted by a team of fairies. Fizzle, the sparkly pink fairy of giggles and glitter. Brumble, a grumpy green fairy who smelled like peppermint. Twink, a tiny fairy who could transform into anything she touched. They guided her to Queen Leora, who explained the dreadful situation. The Everlight flower was wilting because something or someone was stealing kindness and light from the realm. "There's a shadow creature named Vespera," Leora said, her wings drooping slightly. "She feeds on greed, lies, and selfishness. The only way to stop her is with a pure act of magical kindness." "But we don't know what it is." Cinderella stood tall. "Then we find out, together." To begin their quest, Cinderella and the fairy trio ventured into the Whispering Woods, where the trees spoke in riddles and vines danced like snakes. There, they met a sad unicorn named Solstice, whose horn had stopped glowing. He had once been a guardian of the Everlight, but he felt forgotten and unloved. Cinderella sat beside him, brushing his silver mane. "You're still important, Solstice. You matter." With her words, a single spark lit up his horn. He gasped. "That felt like a piece of Everlight." The fairies cheered. Kindness restores the magic. From then on, Solstice joined their team. One night, the team rested in a treehouse woven from vines and moonlight. But Vespera, the shadow sorceress, was watching. She was made of smoke and envy, her eyes like black sapphires. she whispered into Cinderella's dreams. Why give your kindness to others when you could keep it all for yourself? You've earned the magic, you deserve the power. Cinderella awoke, shaken, but when she looked at Solstice, curled beside her and Fizzle, giggling in her sleep, she knew her answer. The power I want is to help. The next morning, they discovered Vespera had stolen the fairy dust pouch from Twink. Without it, they couldn't reach the flower. But Cinderella had an idea. Let's not fight her with fear. Let's invite her to kindness. Everyone gasped. What if she's too far gone? Brumble grumbled. No one is ever too far gone, Cinderella said with a smile. Cinderella and her friends made a glowing lantern filled with memories of love, joy, and friendship from Everlight Garden. They placed it on a floating lily and sent it down the River of Whispers straight to Vespera's hidden lair. The Shadow Queen scoffed when she saw it. But as the lantern hovered before her, images of joyful moments danced inside. A young fairy learning to fly, Solstice getting his glow back, Cinderella hugging her stepmother even after the ball. Something inside Vespera cracked. A tear slid down her cheek. I remember when I was kind, she whispered. Cinderella and the others arrived at the Everlight flower. It was wilted and dull, its golden petals curled in sadness. Cinderella knelt beside it and whispered, You shine when we shine. She closed her eyes and thought of every kind deed she had ever done, not to be praised, but because it was right. She thought of how it felt to help, to love, to forgive. A single tear fell onto the flower's center. Boom! A burst of golden light erupted. The flower straightened. It glowed brighter than ever. The trees swayed in celebration. The skies cleared. And then Vespera appeared. But she wasn't made of shadow anymore. She was now a tall, pale fairy with violet eyes and silver wings. I remember now, she said. Kindness is a kind of magic I forgot. Queen Leora appeared, her wings fluttering with happiness. Welcome home, sister, the fairies gasped. Vespera had once been a guardian herself, lost long ago to bitterness. Cinderella stepped forward and offered her hand. Everyone deserves a second chance. A grand celebration took place in Everlight Garden. The flowers glowed in waves of pink and blue. Fireflies danced with music. Even Brumble wore a party hat. Cinderella was given the title, Heart of Everlight. Not because you have powers, Leora said, but because you are the power. Fizzle giggled. Now let's eat sparkle cake! As they danced under the glowing stars, Solstice nuzzled Cinderella and whispered, You didn't just save the garden, you saved our hope. Cinderella returned home through a rainbow portal with a fairy charm around her neck. Prince Leo raised a brow. Save another kingdom? She grinned. Just a garden this time. From that day forward, whenever someone in the castle showed true kindness, a soft glow would twinkle from the garden behind the palace, reminding everyone that real magic lives inside the heart. Moral of the story: true magic doesn't come from wants or wishes. It comes from kindness, forgiveness, and believing in the good inside others. Even in the darkest places, one act of compassion can light the way.